I applied for a job in Deliveroo. You're waiting to be housed?
No.
Is that your bike?
This is my bike.
You're very welcome to Dublin. I've just been speaking to a few Nigerian guys who have told me that they have fear. There's racism growing in Dublin, there's no doubt about it. They have fears that they're going to get caught up in this. They feel that Ireland has become more racist even within 6 months. A Pakistani guy, resident here, told me the same. Things have got different over the past few months. For everyone involved, for the Nigerians who are settled here, unfortunately, he wouldn't give me an interview for fear of backlash. Now, the fear of backlash, he wasn't scared of Irish people. I wasn't scared of patriotism. It was nothing to do with that. This guy is 20 years settled here. So what he told me is, you've seen these YouTube videos of these families in Africa explaining how to get through the system, showing their beautiful houses, families are all happy. I don't know if you've seen them, they're there to be seen. A few of them are being taken down now. And they're happy and they're jolly and they're explaining how they got through the immigration situation here. So seemingly they're being scammed and they're scamming others. The scam being that you're being put on to a go-between who's filling out paperwork for you, saying he's a solicitor, saying he's whatever. And then they'll keep coming back and saying, we need another 3,000, we need another 2,000, we need thousands, this, that and the other. And it seems that it's Nigerians are getting scammed, or Africans getting scammed. Now, in terms of integration, this was something else that was discussed with these guys. When 20 years ago you came here to immigrate, you went through the struggle, you did whatever you had to do, slept on couches, etc., etc. You did that 20 years ago. But then slowly you would integrate into Irish culture because you didn't have a choice. You were surrounded by Irish people, you didn't know anyone else from whatever country. I was talking about Nigeria, but you didn't know people from these countries. So you settled, you had to go into, you had to do Irish things, you had to become Irish to a certain degree, otherwise you wouldn't survive. And so the ways were learned of the Irish people, and that was how it was for them. The situation now is, with such large groups coming in, not primarily talking about Nigerians here, but with such large groups coming in, they don't need to do that. Once they get settled, they'll have communities. Communities won't integrate because they don't have to. They used to have to if you were trying to settle here, but you won't have to now. So there'll be groups and groups and different groups all sticking together, whether that's a religious choice, whatever, they're going to stick together. And I would expect Dublin to be sectioned off a bit the way London is at times. Southall, I believe, I lived there for a short time. That was quite a tough situation for an Irish guy to be living there, I can tell you. But we will be initially segregated. So the other thing is, I was walking through town and there was a Deliveroo guy. He was angle grinding a lock off a bike. Is that your bike?
This is my bike.
You sure? I've never used Deliveroo in my life, don't know anything about them. Didn't know anything about them. But he's cutting the chain off this lock, broad daylight, Georgia Street, the big streets of Dublin. Rush hour, people. So I went over and said, is that your bike? Yeah, it's my bike, yeah, it's my bike. He had an angle grinder, he put the angle grinder and the busted lock in the bag, and that was the end of that. I thought it was very strange. He got a bit iffy with me. I'll probably put the video up. He got a bit iffy with me, but it ends up me chatting with a few Deliveroo guys. This is a bit shocking. This is very shocking. So what can happen is, you can come over from any country. If there's someone here who's working for Deliveroo, it's in their contract that they can give that job to anyone. anyone. No IDs needed, don't need the details. They can give that to anyone. This is what the guys told me and I didn't believe it. So I applied for a job in Deliveroo. And I got the document sent to me. All I'm short now of telling them is the make of my bike. That's all they want to know. What's the make of your bike? What's the make of your bike? And they email me every few days. But this is the situation. So, you can come over here. You can get a job at Deliveroo. Take as many jobs as you want. Give them jobs to other people once they've got transportation. And these other people could be anyone. These are the guys you see cycling, delivering food with the mask up to here. These guys, you can't even see who's at it. So this is me thinking, what if that delivery was to someone I knew and they had to let them in? These guys had to come into the kitchen with the bags and, you know, grand if you're vetted or you know where they're from or you have some indication of who they're working for, but if you don't know who they are, and there's no way of tracing back to them, they can do anything. This is quite frightening. Anyone can get into your house. This is following up on the taxi drivers in the last video swapping licenses. If this is happening as well, we don't know who's doing anything in this country. You don't need ID for anything. It's you know, but this kind of to be in that line of work, I think that's pretty terrifying. That anyone could be coming into your house, or my granny's house, or my mother's house, or your mother's house. It could be anyone, and they're masked up, so even if you're not going to get photos of them. Applied for the job, tempted to go to take it and do a few runs just to see what happened, but I didn't. Well, it's still open for me. They accepted me over an email. So anyone can work for Deliveroo. Anyone can be delivering your Deliveroo food, or just Eats, whatever the other thing. I don't know even what they're called. Anyone could be delivering them. Know that. I would say don't let anyone into your house with the shopping. If you're aged, let them put it in the door. But I would be very wary after hearing. I'm wary in taxis after the last city, but I'd be wary about the delivery guys after this. No doubt about it. So finally a word on pickpockets. Pickpocketing has become huge in Dublin. Pickpocketing was always a problem with. Right back to the glue sniffing days, there was problems with pickpocketers. But it wasn't heard very often. You heard of glue sniffers starting trouble, etc., etc., but you didn't hear about the pickpockets. I see a lot of pickpocketing, and I'm very wary of it, and I keep myself very. I have everything zipped pockets, but here's a few things about pickpocketing. The place you're most likely to get pickpocketed in Dublin is on the Luas, I'm afraid to say, the Luas transport system, or getting on and off a bus. This is what I've seen. I'll tell you a shocking story then. So I've seen the Halfpenny Bridge is a pretty bad spot. The Halfpenny Bridge, you want to watch your pockets. And I'll tell you what to do to watch your pockets. So getting on and off a bus is quite obvious, especially during rush hour. You're rushing up, someone has change, someone else has a card. This person comes in behind you. They're not even staying on the bus. They're getting on the bus, asking the driver directions, saying, is this the 77? And he's going, no, it's the 56. And it ends up that they just turn around and get off the bus. So they could have pickpocketed someone in that crush, getting on and off buses, pickpocketed someone in the crush, and after that, they are gone. The door's closed, forget it, your items are gone. So that's one to watch, getting on and off buses, Halfpenny Bridge, anywhere you're crushed together. I believe in China there's pickpocketing with chopsticks, but we haven't got that refined yet. So my advice would be, and I've seen Chinese girls in nightclubs just leaving bags and leaving them on a table, walking away, not knowing how dangerous that is. So you come up and you tell them that you can't put that there. They take the bags, thank you, and then you come back 10 minutes later, the bag is there, open. So, and I've seen Chinese people being pickpocketed on the Halfpenny Bridge. So this is what I suggest. If a phone is seen or a wallet is seen, it's going to be gone. Open pockets and open bags, and you're going to get dipped. Dipped is what we say. Pickpocketing we call dipped over here. There's dipping. Anyone pushes into you in a place where you don't feel they should be pushing in, whether it's a stumble, Check your pockets. Before anything, zip all your pockets, zip all your bags. Keep your hand on your phone. If you've got your phone or you're listening to music, no one will nick your phone because that goes out. But keep your hand, keep your phone, your wallet, keep them zipped up. Pickpocketing is rife in Dublin. Don't listen to anyone who tells you any different. I see it. I talk to people about it. I know people who do it. I know people who are the victims of it. There's a very obvious look to couples that go around pickpocketing. I can't explain it. For me, it's very visible. You spot it a mile away. A woman with a bag that doesn't look like a shop, very Brown Thomas. She doesn't look like she shops in Brown Thomas. A bit glammed up, and a bloke who's dressed a bit better than how it appears he should be. That'd be a red flag for me. So I got on the Lewis about a month ago, the transport system, and this is what I saw. There's a girl up the front. Pickpockets work in groups, sometimes, generally. So I saw this old guy, his pocket's open. I can see it's open. It's a packed Lewis. There's a girl standing beside him. I know her, and I know what she's up to. And I see his pockets open. I'm trying to signal him to do something about it. But he started thinking that I was the one. I didn't know whether to say, "Hey, Grandad," or say, "Pretend that I know him. Your pocket's open." But look, here's the way it goes. She'd spotted that. Once her hand is on that camera, on that object of value, consider it gone. She has 4 other guys in the background. You're going to get it if once that's gone, it's gone. Take it that way. That's them sorted for the day. That could be their drugs, it could be their housing, it could be their food, it could be whatever, but it's a necessity, and consider it gone. Consider it gone if it's touched the person's hand. But keep in mind, they work in groups, and they're very scheming and they're very devious, and they also like to get Vicar Street nightclubs, guys coming out of clubs and pubs, and women, very late at night. Beeline. You've got a flashing red light over your head that you are looking for trouble, which is why I always suggest, whether you're a tourist, whatever you are, don't get too drunk in Dublin. It is not going to. I'm not saying don't get too drunk in Dublin. It's not going to go good for you if you're on your own. Don't get too drunk. Something will happen. Happens anywhere in the world if you get too drunk. But you'll get pickpocketed a lot quicker, and I've seen it around town. Georgia Street, little groups in doorways, watching to find out who is the weakest link, because they're the people that they're going to go after.